What's up, everybody? It's your boy Vela. I'm your host this week for the Jury. And on this week's episode, we're focusing specifically on Bafana Bafana. They haven't made another major tournament again, missing out on the 2018 World Cup in Russia. What's going on? What's going wrong with our football here in South Africa? Tune in. You know what to do. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all our social media. And enjoy. So guys, Bafana Bafana, yet again, we're not going to a major tournament. Vela, the only way we can get into major tournaments is if we host them. So, we're not going to Russia 2018. Snoop, I know you wanted to have a go at the players, talk about how they are, their attitudes and their culture. Just shed some light on that.
Yeah, I want to touch on two things. First, I just want to talk about the attitude and also like this thing of the way like our players are just basically they've grown like into the system. Like first of all, you're gonna see your players at the clubs. Like you're gonna see them drunk at the clubs. Like they have no discipline whatsoever. If you compare them to like players like Ronaldo and Messi, those guys don't drink, they don't do this and that, they're always training. And in South Africa it seems like once you've made it, it's time for babies, it's time for a young frupa here and there. It's just the way it's just sad, like. But also, even like the professional players themselves, like the players who are playing in Europe, there's that issue of them just retiring because they fly all the way from wherever they come from, right? And then they get here, and then the coaches don't start them. Then they're like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna retire. Like, what's up with that? I don't think people love their country as much as they supposed to, like compared to the other nations, because we just seen as niggas who wanna do a Tsamaya here and there. It's just like it's not grand, because like I read up about Steven Pienaar. Okay, Steven Pienaar, he only retired because he had already served 10 years of his life to Bafana Bafana. He hadn't had a Father's Day in a long time, things like that. You know what I mean? Darren Buckley, he retired because at the time he was at Dortmund and he wasn't playing well at Dortmund. He was even thinking about committing suicide. So there are personal issues like that, right? Where you can understand why a player might need to just draw away from certain situations, especially with Bafana, because they lose anyways. It's just adding to the depression. But like with players with Kamogelo Mokocho, Tulani Serero, Kermit Erasmus, all these guys, they all just retired when they were under Sheikh Mashaba because Sheikh Mashaba wasn't starting them. Like you're basically putting yourself before the team. What does that say to us as fans?
Shame, but also like maybe it's a thing of, look, the coaches are also just backing local grown talent without like any real justification. Yeah, like some of these boys that play abroad should be starting. Let's be real.
Yeah, I understand that completely, I mean? But it's also about like understanding the team dynamics. It's also the coach himself. Like, okay, Sheikh Mashaba was terrible.
Yeah,
we're not gonna lie about that. But I think there was more understanding of players who are local to play with each other compared to someone who's coming overseas, is going to spend a few weeks or a few days and then go back. Like, there's no cohesion, especially at the time that Bafana is in. It's just a mess. But I understand what you're saying. It's just players must just stick it through. Imagine Lionel Messi.
It's your country, dog.
Imagine
it's your
Messi,
country,
yeah, but like Messi,
you must jam.
Messi, Ronaldo, these guys, they when they play for their country, they play for the country. Even though Sharp Messi,
no, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying, bro, bro, if you're South African, you must want to play for Bafana,
exactly.
regardless of whatever.
We would
Aware, Snoop. That's a great point. I'm gonna throw it to Khanya here just for a response.
Sorry, can I just add on to that? I think the mentality within South African football and our culture is that once you go overseas, you've made it. That's why these guys. My thing is, even if you're coming down and you're not getting game time, that's because you're not good enough yet. Just because you're playing in Europe doesn't mean that you're better than anyone who's playing in South Africa. That's the thing that players. That's the problem with our players. Our players feel like, oh, I'm playing in France now. That means I'm too back. They don't even start there, bruh.
That's another cry, bruh. If you're not starting abroad, or if you're not starting for club level, wherever you play, how you gonna come and say, you don't have game time just because I'm overseas? Nah, I must come play for
shit annoys me, bruh.
You don't even have game time. How do they expect you to just walk into the national setup?
Yeah. I hear you, Snoop. I'm actually gonna keep it with. No, in fact, we're gonna take it to Snoop. I mean, not Snoop. We just took it to Snoop. We're gonna take it to Fizz. Fizz, shed some light on the powers that be in South African football. How do you feel about their direction? You know, because they say the rot starts from the top, eh? So how do you feel about the guys who are leading our football?
That's my angle. I feel like, look, the players are to blame, as they always are, always in every case. But I'm an Arsenal fan, so I know this thing. It starts from the top, bro. Like, this thing is so simple. Like, Gazili's cranky. No. But, like, genuinely, like, Safa, like, as with any organization in South Africa, bro, it's just hella corrupt. Like, the previous president was banned for 5 years by the ethics committee in connection with match fixing. And just most recently, the reason why we basically didn't qualify, besides the fact that we're shite, is the fact that we had to replay these games against Senegal because of because of the match official who got banned for life, whatever the Safa match official apparently whatever he didn't ref the game properly. So I mean, my thing with Safa is that like corruption is always going to have an effect, bro. No matter how you look at it, if you say no, money's going here and it's supposed to be going there, or you're saying no, it's only at the top and the players themselves aren't corrupt, it doesn't make a difference because money's not going where it's supposed to go. And I think this also ties into the fact, or to the nature of footballers in South Africa, is that like you only get certain money when you get to the top. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting looked after well enough in the developmental stages, in the junior stages. So once you make it, you're like, boy, like, hey, this is actually my time. I don't know how much time I have. You know, let me live it and blow as much as I can. And I think that's a culture in South African football, in Safa, just in South Africa in general. I think that's a huge reason on my part why we are struggling. Is because there's no ethics to football in South Africa, you know. It's basically first come, first serve, and it's all about what you can achieve now. People like Danny Jordan, okay, fine, guys, he gave us the 2010 World Cup, but it was still under dubious circumstances, for example, and he's still our president. You know what I'm saying? In fact, no, I think he wasn't even president then. He was CEO or something, and now he becomes president. So I'm just like, how are you putting such people in? Like, okay, yes, we get the FIFA 10 World Cup, but like, now we're in debt. The stadiums aren't like, you know, generating money. Like, it's just whack.
Away, Fizz, thanks for that. Snoop, looked like you had something to say about what Fizz said there.
Yeah, no, I just want to touch on a good point that Fizz brought forward. It was the administration. I think it also goes down to the development of Bafana, the squad itself. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at like other countries, look at Germany. They have a system. Players have been playing with each other since they were like 12 years old. You know what? And they're going from under 17, under 18, under 23s, under 20s into the national setup. They've been playing with each other for a long time. When it comes to Safa, we don't have those structures whatsoever. We do have the structures, just that the players just disappear in the system.
Do you know what I think it also boils down to? Is the reason why we can't have players playing together for so long is because we're always changing fucking coaches, dog.
Exactly.
Like how the hell is a coach supposed to know their team if like their span is so short, you know? I think that also boils down to stuff. It's like, why can't you just find someone who's either incorruptible or knows what they're doing? Like, it shouldn't be so hard to find a coach in international football. I understand club football, but like internationally, like I'm sure there are coaches out there that we don't have to change a coach every fucking season or 2 seasons or year, 2 years. Like it's a shambles, mate. I don't know. Zones.
Zones.
No, just on that. Don't you think though that because we're not qualifying, it's like, what's the point of keeping a manager who's not bringing us anything? So now we stay with you for 4 years. We're left stagnant now. We're not going anywhere because we're not qualifying for shit.
But my point is, how can you hire a coach a year before we have to qualify?
Okay, yeah, I hear that.
And then, guys,
that nigga needs to train.
I hear that.
And then, in fact, I actually wanted to, speaking about coaches, you know, Bafana had the chance to sign Hervé Renard, the guy who's just led Morocco to the World Cup, and obviously won AFCON with Zambia and Ivory Coast. But
what's the excuse again?
But it's because Safa's cheap, bruh. Safa's cheap and corrupt.
Fuck, but you know why? Because the rack is sitting on top, dog.
Fair.
Yeah, dude.
That's why, bruh.
And also,
They're all trying to make these deals on their own. They're trying to be personally behind all these deals.
Yeah.
That's why you get instances where Danny Jordan is basically the person credited for the FIFA 10 World Cup, 2010 World Cup, as if there isn't a whole Safa fucking association. Like, how does that work, bruh? Because niggas want rack, dude.
True that. All right, guys, and then finally I'm going to take it to Zooms. He's just going to shed more lights on that recent Senegal debacle that happened. So Zooms, what really went down there?
Okay, so we all know that wasn't a handball. Like, we all saw that replay. It wasn't a handball, but so the Court of Arbitration of Sport ruled that the referee was found guilty to be breaching the rule relating to unlawfully influencing match results, right? And what that basically meant was that FIFA had done an investigation and found evidence that there was manipulation in the game in terms of the fact that there were spikes in bets, emergency bets before the game. And a lot of the bets were made on the number of goals that were needed, that were going to be scored in the game. So there actually is proof that the game was rigged. As to whether or not South Africa was involved, that obviously they've distanced themselves from it. But it's quite unfortunate that an independent party, being the Ghanaian ref, had such a deep influence. And SAFA also was saying that they weren't going to appeal the decision because, you know, they wouldn't want to win by virtue of the fact that the game was manipulated. So it's a bit of a tough one.
It's because they knew before, bruh.
You reckon? I don't know, bruh.
Hey, first,
I don't know.
Such
Yeah,
claims.
imagine they're gonna find more information on you. They're gonna find more dirt on you.
These guys. You guys, this is a conspiracy theory now.
That's what they find you. That's what they group there.
Guys, seriously.
Alright, Fizz, Snoop, away. Well, yeah, just to wrap up this episode on Bafana Bafana, we really hope that the national team eventually gets on the right track because, I mean, guys will agree, we've got the talent here in South Africa. You see young players like Percy Tau, Bongani Zungu. I mean, there's talents out here. It's just, guys, like, stop loving money so much, bruh. Like, don't be corrupt. Just do the right thing for the game, bruh. Because, you know, Bafana Bafana, it's a loved team, you know, but come on now. Let's focus on the next AFCON. Let's see if we can make it into the next AFCON. And also Kaya's got one more interesting point to make on this conversation involving language and communication. Kaya, take it away, my boy.
Well, let me just say that you're a piece of shit for introducing me like that. But just try hear me out here, guys. Real talk. Like, I know we all banter and we boys, but me and Snoop spoke about it. The reason I wanted to speak to Snoop about it is because Snoop was actually willing to hear me out, right? And before I say what I'm gonna say, yeah, real chat. Before I say what I'm gonna say, I need you guys to understand that I'm not saying this is the main reason. I'm not even saying it's a big reason. I'm actually saying I'm admitting it's a small reason, but I think it's a contributing factor in my personal opinion, right? But when you look at all the top footballing nations in the world,
yeah,
right? France, Germany, Spain, even Italy, Argentina, all those guys speak one language. And they usually, especially when they have success, they have coaches who speak the same language as they do, right? And what I am saying is that we do not have that in our country. We have 11 official languages. We there's guys who come from Limpopo and Polo. Like, see, those aren't listening. There's guys who come from Limpopo and Polokwane and they speak different languages. And when you look at teams like Brazil, for example, even France, these guys are boys. Think of people like Marcelo, Danny Alves, David Luiz, Thiago Silva, Neymar. These guys are all bras off the field. Now, when they come to play for the national team, you know, they're playing for each other because, you know, you guys have a history, you guys have a companionship, right? Now, when you look at our country, we have a coach in Stuart Baxter, who's obviously he's not even South African, but he speaks English, right? When you're Stuart Baxter and you call someone up to the squad who's never played for you, who you've never met, and think about it, you know, like it's different for club level because you guys train together for months. I mean, I know guys don't speak the same language at club level, but you train together every day for like five days a week. Even though you can't speak, you know how each other play, you understand each other. Now, how do you expect Stuart Baxter to communicate within 2 training sessions before a big World Cup qualifier to somebody that, you know, this is how I want you to play?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? There's a language barrier, and I can see that side laugh, and you're more than entitled to it. You're more than welcome to disagree with me, but I genuinely think it's a small contributing factor where O's and it also it ties back to also just the racial tension that's in this country, the cultural tension that's in this, like, you know, Xhosa guys don't feel Zulu guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think there's just a whole mess up there. It's tiny, yes, but I think it's genuinely a thing.
Okay, Kaya. No, I'm not gonna allow a response to Kaya's thing. But Kaya, you made your point was heard. It was heard. I don't know if it was made, but it was heard. You know, we get you where you're coming from. But I don't know, maybe it is. I mean, with Bafana, I mean, there's a long list of bad things that's going on. So maybe that one is a contributing factor as well. But yeah, wrapping it up, Bafana Bafana, we'll support you for a little bit longer. You know, you guys can't keep not making tournaments. You know what I'm saying? We'll support you for a little bit longer. Hopefully we make it to the AFCON, you know, at least, and then maybe we can look at the World Cup in Qatar. But yeah, that's our chat for this week. You know what to do. Subscribe, follow us on all our social media at The Jury SA. Have a great one.